What up, world? StephenASmith coming right back at you. Cheryl Reeve knew exactly what she was doing when she wore that Trans Kids Belong shirt against the Indiana Fever.
On that same vein, in that story with ESPN, you talked about wanting to protect young girls who shouldn't have to go against biological men. Just can you expand your viewpoint on that?
I mean, I think I said what I said. I think it's kind of common sense. And I think I'll always believe in that. I think it's really important to protect children. And that's little girls who are also involved in that category. And so I stand on what I said, and I always believe that.
Yeah.
Some people might say, hey, for the trans community, this could be something that could come back on us or be targeted against us. Like, how do you, I guess, view that sort of critique?
Like I said, I extend love, and I don't dislike anyone. Like, I think there is room for absolutely everyone here, and I think there's room to love everyone. And I truly think when you get people in the same room and you have conversations, you actually have a lot in common with a lot of people. And so I'm there to love, but I'm also there to love biological women, and I think that there are rights that need to be protected. And like I said, I'm going to stand true to that. I'll never falter in my beliefs in that.
We have scholarships at school and that sort of thing. That's where I say that common sense people get together and you find common ground to find a way to be inclusive. The answer isn't no. It is not the case that we have, quote, biological men in girls' locker rooms. The way it's being phrased, the innuendo there that somehow transgender women are predators of some kind in the locker room. There's a lot of narrative that is problematic that we need to address. That is simply not what's happening. I think we can take on the issue. There are more and more transgenders in our country as years go by.
You see Cheryl Reeve wearing a shirt today in support of trans kids. Trans kids belong on the shirt. This in the aftermath of Sophie Cunningham's recent comments. We actually saw Cheryl and Sophie speaking at center court pregame. And yesterday, Cheryl Reeve spent a lot of time talking at length with the media about this topic.
I would encourage anyone to go and listen to Cheryl Reeve's comments. Incredibly thoughtful, easy to find online. And
let me make something clear before people start twisting the conversation. Of course, trans kids belong in this world, and they deserve to live their lives without being bullied or mistreated. But that is not the question people are asking about women's sports. The question is whether athletes who went through male puberty should compete inside a category specifically created for women. Those are two different conversations. Wearing that shirt makes it sound like anybody who disagrees with Cheryl Reeve is saying trans people don't belong anywhere. She knows damn well that is not what people are saying. Reeves wore the shirt against the Indiana Fever after Sophie Cunningham had already made her point clear. She believes women's sports should be protected for female athletes. So this was not some random shirt Cheryl pulled out the closet. She knew who was coming into that building. She knew the cameras would be there, and she knew exactly what kind of reaction she would get. That's why this looked like she was chasing a moment to me. She wanted the picture, the headlines, and the conversation that we all having right now. And she has every right to express her opinion. But don't create a political moment during the game and then act surprised when the politics become bigger than the basketball.
And transition into female, you should be playing against the women. Nobody said you can't transition from male to female. The issue here is competing against the women. That's what Sophie Cunningham was talking about. That's what Riley Gaines is talking about. How are you, Coach Cheryl Reeve, and you could condone that? And then you're going to come out with a T-shirt. No regard for the WNBA. No regard for the sponsors that may be put off by that. No regard for the bottom line that might be affected because of a position that she has taken that you know is going to be politicized because that's what you did. No regard for that whatsoever. How is that okay? How? Because your spirit and your soul told you that's the right thing to do, so bump how it affects the collective brand of the WNBA and how they may be frowned upon by half of America when you need all the support that you can get in building your product is exceptional as the league and these young ladies playing in the league have done in building the sport all of these years.
This is one of those times where Stephen A is saying something that a lot of people believe but are afraid to say. You can respect trans people and still believe women's sports should remain a sex-based category. Those two positions don't cancel each other out. Respecting somebody does not mean we have to pretend physical differences don't exist. Sports are built around physical differences. That is why we have weight classes. That is why we have age groups. And that is why men's and women's sports were separated in the first place. If those differences did not matter, there would be no reason for the WNBA to exist. Everybody could just try out for the NBA and let's see who makes the team. But we already know what will happen. The women's category was created so female athletes could compete, win roster spots, earn scholarships, and build professional careers. I have never understood why women are always expected to give something up in the name of inclusion. Their roster spots, their records, their championships, and now their right to say that they are uncomfortable with men being in their sport. Basketball is a contact sport. People set hard screens, fight for position, box out, and fight it out in the paint. So this is not only about who can run faster or jump higher. Size, strength, and body type also become a factor. That doesn't mean trans athletes should be banned from all sports. It means the people running sports needs to find a solution that does not ask female athletes to sacrifice their category. Maybe it's an open category. Maybe it's a different division or some other standard that needs to be developed. But simply calling every concern hate is not a solution. That is just a way to shut down the conversation before anybody gets a chance to answer the question.
And you just gonna come out there and wear that shirt, knowing it was going to bring attention to you and knowing that you're going up against the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark, who obviously is the #1 draw in the WNBA, which means cameras are rolling. It's just an accident or coincidence that that's the game you chose to wear that shirt, huh? This is the bull. It's the selfishness. Cheryl Reeve, the head coach of the Minnesota Lynx. That is an irresponsible thing to do. You are a coach for a female basketball team. Do you not think that the females are being screwed over if they have to compete against a individual born as a male? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
The timing is what really makes this look calculated. She didn't wear the shirt during a quiet practice when nobody was watching. She wore it against the Indiana Fever with Sophie Cunningham in the building. That game was going to get attention. And Cheryl understands the media too well for me to believe that she didn't know what would happen. She wanted to send a message. She sent it. And now people are responding. The problem is that shirt don't answer nothing. Trans people belong sounds compassionate, but it does not tell us what the eligibility rules should be in women's sports. It don't answer questions about puberty, physical advantages, hormone treatments, roster spots, or fairness. It just puts one side in the position of looking loving, while everybody who disagrees is made to look cruel. That may work on a t-shirt, but it don't work as a policy. And this is where I agree with Stephen A. The WNBA is finally getting more attention, more coverage, and more people watching the actual games. Why keep dragging the league into one of the most divisive conversations that you can have? The WNBA has every right to support the LGBTQ community. That community has been an important part of the league and its fan base for years. But supporting people don't mean you turn a high-profile game into a political party. Sometimes your job is to coach the players and let the players be the story. And Sophie Cunningham should be allowed to speak too. She can be challenged, she can be disagreed with, and she should still be able to say that she wants to protect women's sports. Female athletes should probably have the loudest voice about what happens in women's sports. So I'm gonna take y'all out like this. Trans people deserve respect, safety, and the freedom to live their life without being harassed. Physical differences matter in athletic competition, whether people feel comfortable saying it or not. Cheryl Reeve had every right to wear her shirt. But she also knew she was using a high-profile game to send a message at Sophie Cunningham and everybody else who disagreed with her. So don't act like the reaction came out of nowhere. You knew it would come. We can find a place for trans athletes without asking females to step aside. But a slogan on a t-shirt doesn't solve the problem. It only makes it louder. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe. Established Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.